Great. So good. Good evening, everyone. We've started recording. Uh, so the meeting has actually started. Once again, welcome everyone. I was saying that 3 weeks thereabout ago, we had quite an intensive meeting, quite informative. I'm sure you all benefited from it. Some of you have, made the decision, attending further meetings, and moving forward from there, which is good. Everything we give in this platform is to add value. And most importantly, I told you that my main motive of doing this is to kind of mitigate the uncertainty people would face as they start the program. Victor and I and the other group admin, we faced some things in this training. And we're just saying that perhaps by just sharing with people, it may just help to make your road smoother. You are more prepared, you're better off. And today is one of that again. It's called placement planning meeting. That is first meeting you would have with your CS or maybe your educational supervisor, vice versa, Nico, when you start the training. One thing we've realized is that though, if you go in either blanket or plain, you may kind of position yourself or subject yourself or kind of expose yourself to some unfortunate circumstances. Because even though there's a lot of support, the expectation is that as a postgraduate, you would, know what to do, what you want out of this. So it's not so much of teaching, it's not so much of spoon feeding, but being proactive or proactively. That will be expected of you as a training. So we're just here to kind of, expose you to the likelihood of circumstances you will face when you meet the first time you will meet your CS. Before we go into that, like I said, Christina, our dear friend, she's here with us to just share with us a few things, and then we go into the meeting straight up. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Elijah. So I'm meeting some of you for the first time, and I think some I've met before. So my name is Christiane Doe. I'm actually going to be in the background today, just helping Dr. Elijah with the admin side of things, just, to making sure that there's a smooth running. But I feel like I haven't formally introduced myself to some of you. I think you see me all the times you come in and do meetings, but I haven't really spoken to you all about who I am and what it is that I do. So my name is Christiane Doe. I'm actually a senior financial educator or financial coach, whichever one you prefer. So I work for a company called Genister. So we believe in the concept of financial freedoms for all. Sorry, as I'm talking, I'm still gonna and let people come in, okay? So I'm really just, okay, thank you very Thank you, Dr. Elijah. So what I'm doing is basically just kind of telling you a bit about myself as we are still waiting for the others to join, because some unfortunately are coming on a bit late. So I won't take much time. So one of the things we do actually, let me share a few slides with you. It's I mentioned we do in financial education. So our aim is to make sure everybody within the UK has access to or financially literate. So you would agree that, in schools, people are taught actually how to dissect frogs and rats, but then you don't necessarily need it unless you're going down that road of becoming a doctor. but then we have to learn that also. But one of the things we're not taught is how money works. So one of the things we found is that people in the UK have a money problem. And I recently did an education, and I spoke with Dr. Elijah about getting another doctor who I've done the education for to actually come to you and speak about the UK pension. I think we kind of have the understanding or maybe the belief that the pension in the UK is just amazing for doctors. But whilst doing this education for this retired doctor, he was actually on the minimum, and we wouldn't have expected that for a doctor. So he was getting well under 800 a month. So I asked him to come in and actually give a talk about the UK retirement system, but we haven't yet planned it, and he hasn't. So we're still talking about it to see whether he would agree. So what we do is we offer families a financial game plan. In other words, a financial analysis. What it does is just sat nav to help families get from A to B. I guess everybody knows where they want to be at retirement, but a lot of people don't necessarily know how to get there. So which is why we then do this financial game plan, or again, financial analysis. Everything we do is mission focused on helping you achieve your financial goals and dreams. So we look at areas of protection, mortgages, travels, wills and trust. We do have also for those who are interested in investment, such as buying properties to let, we also have that actually available, which we can help clients with. We have different forms of investment and pension. We do commercial insurance also. So everything we do, like I said again, is mission focused on helping you achieve your financial goals and dreams. So you'll probably ask yourself, why is it that we're so passionate about educating individuals? It's because most people, let me just admit, I've got a few people in the waiting room coming in. All right, thank you. Most people don't actually plan to fail. They actually fail to plan. So we are hoping that all of you guys in the UK, especially those who are, from my community or my neck of the wood, we don't want you to fall into this debt trap. So we're trying to make sure that you're all financially savvy. All right. So that's just a little bit about myself. What I'm going to do is I will show you guys what one of our financial analysis actually looks like. So here's an example of one. This is what I actually use when I train my staff. And then we use this. So it's actually a dummy client's file. It's not an actual client. So what we do is we actually show our clients how they can pay off their mortgage in, can you say that, how we can save them 5 years of their mortgage by just changing the payment method. So some of the things we look in this plan are your financial protection, your net worth, goals and dreams, retirement, debt freedom, and debt stacking, and of course, protection. So over here, we would then show you where you would like to be at retirement, the minimum income you want to have. So why do we do this? We show this to our clients because we understand that if you're not planning to work for your entire life, it's important to plan for your retirement. So then we show you what you could potentially get at retirement. So I'm also going to show you a few, just actually 2 short videos, which I think will be of an interest to you. I know I've said a little bit, but hear from the CEO, hear from others. I'm going to make you hear 2 videos. One is actually going to be, let me stop my share for a bit because I forgot to actually share sound. So one of the video is going to be, you're going to hear from the CEO himself as to why Genister came about. And then you're going to hear another one from a gentleman who was actually in the same profession as you and his experience in Genister. So whilst we watch this video, I'll just be in the background admitting people. So please, if you can't hear it, do let me know, but I think I've shared sound, okay? So Dr. Elijah, please just give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear the sound. If not, somebody point it out to me, but here goes the video.
Genistar is a financial education company, and what we do is we help families in the home understand how this thing called money actually works.
We are not a traditional business, we are Genistar. You see, what we do is we save families' lives. We save them from financial hardship and financial ruin. We stop houses from being repossessed. We put people's lives in order from a financial point of view.
And we give people like a sat-nav for their finances with a tool that we call a financial game plan.
Complimentary financial game plan, a financial analysis, free of charge.
This is education. We give people choices based on that education. We change people's lives.
Our goal is to find out what their needs are, and help to empower them and educate them financially so that they are making the correct decisions for their financial future. Today, the average family in the United Kingdom has more debt that they're carrying, on average spending somewhere between £300 to £500 a month just for interest only. The job opportunities out there just really aren't there. And what is totally amazing is that there is no financial education. When it comes to financial matters, the majority of people are pretty well financially illiterate.
It doesn't matter how big we get, it always boils back down to one thing, and that is the family that we're helping at that time. Because, if we concentrate on helping one family at a time in each community, that's going to spread, multiply, and grow. It's unique. No one else does what we do. What we actually do is life-changing and life-important. And it really does make an impact on the family.
Their main focus is not about the commission, but it's about the mission of helping others.
The second video.
I work in the hospital actually as a surgical care practitioner, and they train me to do cardiac surgery. So that job entails actually opening chest, closing chest for the consultant, harvesting vein and arteries for them to surgery. I do that job for 8 years. If you total the number of hours that we do, probably about 60 hours in a week. It's really, really, really tough, especially if you got a young family in London. That kind of lifestyle, it's very difficult, because most of the time we arrive in the house at 9:30, few hours to look after them, to spend time with them, and again in the morning we'll be leaving and just still sleep. So we miss lots of their life actually, and that's one of the things that we suffered on that one. I just realized actually that we need to have something else, because if hard work doesn't work anymore, what's the alternative? And at that time, I was really, really, anxious about working on the career that I was doing, that I was building very hard, and cannot retire on the terms that I want. Because I attended actually some consultants living dues. But after retiring, they're still going back to work. And mind you, they've been earning this money, six-figure income for how many decades, and still, when they time to retire, they cannot do it. So that's actually an eye-opener for me. So I was looking for an alternative for myself and for my family, because I will not put myself and subject it the same scenario just like what they have. Through financial education, Janister offered a financial game plan, and with me and my family at that time, we are in debts, and we don't know how to manage our debts. We're just accruing more debts from time to time. And what Janister offered us is actually how to pay the debt quicker without even paying extra. So they showed us how to reduce our mortgage from 20 years to 12 years. And that's really an exciting actually skills and knowledge that anyone can have through Janister Financial Game Plan. Now that I'm full-time in Janister, I got more time to look after my family. So in a way, it's worth working hard if you got spare time to look after your family. Since actually going full-time in Janister, we're debt-free. We don't have any credit cards. We don't use personal. We're not believer on debts anymore. We're actually debt-free, and that's actually what the best thing happened to us, because my wife can go for holiday anytime that she wants. We can go on holiday whatever we want. We don't need to file annual leave anymore. We can look after our kids. And with that, just to give you an example, my eldest son is actually a team of our regional swimming club in Essex, because we have more time now to look after his interest, his passion, and that's actually swimming. And by going full-time in Janister, you can schedule your priorities rather than prioritizing your schedule. Janister has helped achieve my dreams. Why not you?
Thank you so much, guys, for your patience. And then I hope you actually enjoyed those videos. And for those of you who would like a free consultation with us, a complimentary consultation, please just take a photo of the contact number on the screen right now. Contact Dr. Buki. She's actually a team leader within Genister. She's actually doing this alongside being a doctor. So she does it on a part-time basis, and then she's always willing to help other individuals, other doctors actually come on and put them on their journey towards financial freedom. We also have a booklet called Achieving Your Journey to Financial Freedom. So it's usually sold on Amazon, but then for those who do come on and have the complimentary financial education, they will be getting that financial freedom booklet at the end, absolutely free of charge. So you don't have to pay any money for that. And it then will show you some of the amazing concepts we actually teach. I'm just trying to look if I have that. I hope you've all been able to take the photos of the Dr. Buki's contact details. Let me know if you all need more time to take it. But then I think what I'll do is at the end, please, for those who come to the education, we will be sending you a free Achieving Financial Freedom booklet. Dr. Elijah has read it. It's an absolutely fantastic book. So yeah, so I'll let you guys now start with your meeting, and I'll just be in the background. Thank you all. But if you have any questions, please message me privately, okay? So we're not disrupting the meeting. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christine. You've always been very dependable, and you've added value to myself and my family since I've met you, and you continue to do that. And this group is not an exception. So once we made that decision, we could just to Christine and Obuki as well. So going forward, today I've just kind of seen myself on the video, and the pictures are not so clear, but it's okay. But once you can hear my voice, yes, that will be fine. Today, we're talking about placement planning meeting. Yeah. I've mentioned that it's like the first meeting with your clinical supervisor or your educational supervisor. Most times it's just a chit chat kind of a thing, just to familiarize yourself with, with your supervisor. I'm doing this most importantly because of people that are going to start with GP, unlike people in the hospital. In the GP practice, after the first day is when you actually have your placement planning meeting, and nobody will tell you categorically that this is a placement planning meeting. Your CS will just call you casually, show you around the place, where the ECG is, where all the important things are, introduce you to the staff, take you to the admin department, walk you around your practice, and say, well, let's go to my office and let's talk. It's as casual as that. If you weren't in this meeting, you wouldn't know that is what, I didn't know, and I don't know about Victor as well, but that's how it is. And it's just, asking you questions, and you answering, and that is how it goes. So, but in the meeting, what the assessment has actually started on that day. If or Victor, you can put your mic on as well if there's anything you want to throw in. Everyone knows Victor. Victor was one of our speakers, is part of the admin person in the group. He spoke to us about finances and all of that. I think we have his video on the YouTube channel. So today he's come back to just help me with the prayer role. When Victor and I, when we finish, I would I think I have a volunteer already that we just want to try themselves on this this whole thing, so that they get an idea of it. And if you have a close friend among you in the group, you guys can call each other and just do, most times it's usually about 20 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes talk. So you can use the principle or the way we've gone about this today, just talk to each other, because you want to make a good impression the first time you meet your CS. Right. Victor, anything you want to say before? Are you on it? Eh?
No, not
Hey
to say.
boy, no, which one?
No, it's not you. It's not you. I just woke up, so
Okay.
it's been that kind of an evening. So yeah, I mean, you've basically said what it is to say. Yeah, so it's basically I mean, you've said it all. It's basically like planning, your placements. If you have I know some people have 3 monthly postings. Some people might have 4 monthly or 6 monthly postings. So it's basically, discussing with your clinical supervisor, basically how you're going to navigate through the posting. So what you want to achieve in the postings, because with each posting, you should basically have a plan as to the things you want to learn and how you want to achieve them. So it's basically that, point when you start discussing those things, your needs, your educational needs with your supervisor, and then you come to how you can achieve them. So basically, that's what it is.
What I want to add to what Victor has said is that, and I think we spoke about it yesterday as well, but may I tell you that the role play we're going to do is quite spontaneous. We haven't practiced it, but we've just discussed around what the placement planning meeting is and what we hope to give, really. So what I was going to add to it is that you said your training needs. One thing, the way we want to go about it is that, quite all right, you mentioned your training needs, but the next sentence that you follows up is how you are going to meet that training needs. The truth is that your CS knows more about you. They've been doing this for many years, but they want to also see that you actually made a little bit of effort to find solution to your so-called challenges, problems, or needs. Okay, so you're not going there saying that I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know this. This is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need. The next sentence that you want to back up with that to give a good impression about yourself is to say that, well, I have checked this. Well, I'm giving Victor some tips already, so I will stop at that. Let me not go further, really. So that is what it's all about, planning yourself. So, for example, especially the other thing I also want to say is that for people in the hospital, you want to channel your needs in relation to your specialty. So, take for example, if you're working in an emergency, not that you want to, how would I put, let me pick up something. It's not that you want to know the main diagnosis of maybe a neurological issue or a neurological problem. But what you want to get out of it is that you want to know at least you want to be able to do a quick neuro examination. Clearly say that this person, needs to go to the hospital one time, right? If somebody says he has a back pain, you want to rule out the red flag, or to make sure that this person, okay, I can wait for another few days, or I need to send this person the emergency. So that is what they want to be looking at. Or if you want to say you want to assess an asthmatic patient, for example, you want to know, you want to say that you want to find out the red flags to send a patient to an emergency or to keep them. Because your patient as a GP specialist will not meet you in the emergency, they will meet you in the practice. So it's that thing that you want to know about that disease or the condition enough to say, okay, I will keep you, watch and wait, or send you to the emergency. So just always have that at the back of your mind, that especially for those in the hospital, that your need should be tailored to meet specialty. Okay, going forward, right? So we've said all of that, and we will just do a role play about the planning placement meeting, basically. So, Victor, you're on board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm acting as the CS. Victor is acting as the training. So we're going to start. Sometimes I want to time myself. Maybe in the next 10 minutes, our discussion should be over. Give another room for one of you to come to try their hands on it, and then you go and set up your needs, set up your plans both for your different areas of rotation. Not let me say specialty, because we are all GP. So, hi, Dr. Victor. How are you today?
Hello, I'm fine, Elijah. I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm fine. It's good to have you. We've been waiting for you for about a couple of months now. Your name was sent to the practice, and everybody actually been waiting for you. How has your journey been, coming into the UK?
Well, to be honest, I think it was a bit stressful at the beginning, but yeah, I'm, still trying to find my way around, to be honest. Yeah, I basically got in a few weeks ago. I've just done just got to my BRP, and then just trying to know, the area, getting conversant with, places and the shops. And to be honest, I was looking forward to this meeting,
Okay,
looking
that's
forward to
fine.
yeah, and starting as well.
Oh, great. Yes. So, it's always a bit challenging, getting to a new place and knowing your way around. But I guess the Airbnb is quite close to the practice. So how far do you come?
Yeah, so it's basically 5 minutes. I'm staying in a temporary accommodation. I'm still looking for a place.
Okay.
So hopefully maybe in a week or two, I should be able to get a bit more settled in.
Okay, great. Because it's good that you're coming 5 minutes away from the practice, and that would help your punctuality. Having you come to the practice time. We just see everybody's here. So I'll be expecting you to be here around that time. We usually have a tea break where all the doctors, all the medical team come together. We have a chit chat for about 30 minutes. So my advice is that any work that you're doing around that time, try and get around it, get it done, so that you don't miss the meeting. Is quite essential for you to kind of ease out, relax, reflect on some of the stuff, and then you would meet thereafter, to just get a feedback on some of the patients you've seen for the morning. How do you feel about that?
I think that will really be helpful. Yeah. Also, encourage me to get to know the team members as well.
Great. So how do you feel around people though? Are you the shy one, or you're the talk type, or what are you like? Tell me.
I think generally people say, I'm quiet, and I don't intend to. I just find myself keeping a lot to myself. But that is usually, if I'm in an environment where I'm not really familiar, but I try to get myself, quite familiar with the people as soon as possible, so as to, kind of be a bit more outgoing, so to say. So,
Yeah.
well, I won't say I'm quiet. I won't say I'm, like all in people's faces, but I tend to contribute my part.
That's good. That's what we need, as we need you as a team player. We are all a team in this practice, and that's why we have that meeting to just get everybody relaxed, say what they've been going through. Sometimes we discuss our topics are quite spontaneous. We don't have a particular topic when we come together. Okay, so that is that. Have you got any families at all with you, or is just you alone that is here today, or in
Well,
the UK?
it's just me in the UK. I've not got any close family here, but I've got friends who have been here before me.
Okay.
So hopefully that helps settle me in.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to have friends that you can ask a few questions and all that. So basically, it's just you here for the training, and that also helps with a bit of focus and having you to deal with fewer things. You're just coming into the training, doing your work, going back. But it would also give you a lot of free time. I don't know what you intend to do with that.
Well, other than reading, I intend to engage in some sporting activities. I'm a keen, tennis lover.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I am actually. Yeah, so I'll look around for where I can join, to play some tennis and probably some, football just to keep me fit.
That is good. You said aside from reading, as you mentioned that, I just wanted to ask, you've come to the GP. What have you done in the past?
Well, in the past, in Nigeria, I was after post-graduation, did my house job, which back home in Nigeria is 1 year. So whereby you have exposure to medicine, surgery, obs and gynae, and pediatrics.
Yeah, I know all of that. Yeah.
So I've also done some. I did the mandatory 1 year training, and basically I was working in a nephrology unit, for about 2 years before coming to the UK. So a bit of a background in internal medicine and nephrology. I know GPs cut across all specialties, so I have to be up to speed in terms of my knowledge gap basically.
So, and how do you intend to approach that, if I may ask?
Well, it's constantly through learning and relearning in terms of studying around patient base, the patients I see, also as soon as possible. Basically, I've always been studying anyway, but I think it will basically be patient driven, and also go through some guidelines and things like that just to get acquainted with it, really.
Okay, which of the guidelines are you aware of in the UK?
Okay, there's nice CKS.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there's also patient info, which is very good in terms of explaining. Some of my friends have told me about it in terms of explaining medical terminologies in lay person's terms. So and also information as well that can be helpful. And there's also the NHS website, which I know is very useful as well. I think I've learned of other ones.
That's good.
BMJ.
So
there's a BMJ, I believe.
Yes. Resourceful website online, but clearly the ones that you have mentioned, are quite worthy of checking really and being on them. Nice guideline, nice CKS, very good. So I would say you should just crack on with those. Anytime you have any problems, you can, or challenges, you could just let me know. One thing I also wanted to discuss with you today before we finish is that I know you said you've done a bit of nephrology. I don't know the number of patients you were previewed to see a day while you were at that. How many patients do you see roughly?
It actually depended on the day to day, so it wasn't really fixed. So some days we could see as much as 15 to 20 patients, and other days we could see 3, 4. Because this were not, it wasn't like yes, it was a clinic, but it was also a specialist center where we tended to see very unwell patients sometimes, which didn't really afford us the time to see a lot of patients at the same time.
Okay, that's good. Because I was just I don't know if you're aware, but the qualified or GPs will see patients at least about 10 minutes. But starting with you as a training, I think we will give you they're about 20 or 30 minutes, depending on the number of patients that we have for the day. I will just go for another 2 minutes and then we'll stop this. So depending on the number of patients that we see every day, we'll play around play around 20 or 30 minutes in your first few weeks or months. We'll see how you go with that. And then we gradually, reduce it over time as we go along. But most times we would leave you at about 15 minutes. But if you do extraordinarily well, then maybe we may just put you like one of us, have you do it for about 10 minutes. You can learn the book really, really fast. But that is how we kind of in the EP. You got any questions for me?
Well, I mean, you've been, explicit so far in explaining how the surgery works and the number of patients. So I'm just, being that coming from the background where I've not really had that exposure to GP, and as well as seeing patients. I know it's doable because I've spoken with some of my friends and colleagues who have said that they see patients in 10 minutes. So I'm just wondering if I'm struggling a bit. Is there any support in terms of if I'm not able to come down to the 15 minutes, for instance, and what level of supervision would I be getting, for
Okay.
example? Yeah.
Yeah. So well, but we could have spoken about that really. It's good that you raised that point about supervision. Most times in the practice, you and I would see for about you and I would see you and I will see at least once a week for about an hour. Depends on how my impression on how you're getting along. The mark, I mean, the time span for our supervision is about 4 hours really. But I mean, we may talk about one or two things and I release you to let you go and read more about it. So that is one thing that we do about supervision where we meet. The other thing is that every time, at least, it's our schedule for the day is divided into two really. So we meet after you see all your patients in the morning for about 10 minutes, where we just go over some of the patients. In the beginning, we might go through each and every one of them, but as we go by and I see that you're doing quite well, you may just be some of your difficult patients that would about really. And everything is always a learning point for you. So some of your difficult patients, you will reflect on them in your portfolio. be on your e-portfolio as well. That's another way I kind of supervise you. When you put your entry in your e-portfolio, you submit it to myself and I would review them. That's even one of the things we may be doing in our 4-hour supervision as well. So we'll see your patient after the morning and after the evening, and then you have your own self-directed learning for half of the day as well, where you go choose what you want to read and do your own preparation going forward. And I think that's basically what it is for now. I think that's that is it for now. As we get closer to the end of posting or the mid posting, would kind of inform you more about some other ways of supervision, about at least what we do to start with. Is that all?
Yeah, right. So I've also learned about PDPs. Yeah. So well, I wanted to have a chat about that, and also what are the learning opportunities available in the practice where someone like me basically could benefit from.
Okay. Well, about that, I'm not the only one that you'll be seeing as well. There are a lot of the partners in the practice. So most times when you see your patients, it's a bit like a rota, but at the end of your slot, you see who you're having supervision with, so that you can have that variable way of learning and exposure to to other practices as well. Your PDP is something that you have to develop yourself. Is mainly what you want to get done in this rotation. So what I would just advise you is that try and keep it achievable, something that you can do in between this time. It's called SMART, so you make it simple, measurable, accurate, reliable, or realistic, and time bound. So you have 6 months. Whatever goals you want to achieve, try and keep it within this 6 months. Don't mention things, that you won't achieve in 1 year or you won't achieve within this training. So I will leave that to you to go and think about a few things that you want to do or achieve in this 6 months. And even that may be our next supervision, what we will be doing. Is that okay?
Yeah. Although I did think of a few things.
Okay. Did you think of a few things? Well, let's leave that for when next we'll meet again, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I will allow you to just get on with with your first day in the posting. You have your room there, and somebody will come and speak to you about the computer. There is actually a roster of induction about the practice. Maybe somebody will speak to you about the computer today. You go stay with the admin for a few days, and then you come back to me as well. Yeah. So
Right.
have a great day and enjoy yourself.
All right. Thank you.
Good. Great. What do you guys think about it?
Hi, good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
It was a good conversation, but I have a few questions. So I watched a video on YouTube. It was sent to us by Itinerary about your first meeting with your educational supervisor, and in that meeting, the educational supervisor had like a lot of documentation about the doctor in person. I was asking a lot of in-depth questions relating to the e-portfolio preparation for the exams. It wasn't a very casual meeting. So I was just wondering, a lot of things I've not heard before were mentioned there. So it kind of made me a bit nervous.
Well, I think the good,
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I think the good thing about that is that it puts you on your toes and make you a bit more prepared. But the reality is that, you know, like I said, the video makes you more harmed, you know, that, you know, some you're not taught unawares. So if you've watched the video and you want to send it to everyone, that would be great on the forum as well, so that everybody can watch it. Yeah, in addition to
I
what,
would look for the link. It was
yeah.
sent specifically to us, so I hope they can
So
access it. I think it's on YouTube.
yeah,
It's on YouTube.
is it your meeting with your CS or meeting with your educational supervisor?
I think CS and ES, I think they're used interchangeably.
No,
Are they different?
no, they're not.
Oh,
So
I have
no,
to confirm them because I'm not quite
yeah,
sure.
so they are not used interchangeably. So CS is your clinical supervisor and ES is your educational supervisor. Now you would have one educational supervisor which would oversee your training from your, you know, ST1 to your through your ST3. So that's your educational supervisor. Now your clinical supervisor is the supervisor that you have per posting. Okay, so that is going to oversee, you know, your post. So if you have like a 6 monthly posting, for instance, so you're going to have, you know, a clinical supervisor for that 6 months, who will also be in that specialty, you know, where you'll be doing the posting. So when you're in a GP post, for instance, your clinical supervisor would be a GP in that placement that you are, you know, at the time. Your educational supervisor is always going to be a GP, okay? But your clinical supervisor would depend on basically the, you know, the posting that you're doing at the time. So you don't use them interchangeably. Now so from what you're saying makes sense from an educational supervisor's point of view, you know, but not a clinical supervisor's point of view, because for instance, if you're maybe your posting is in say ENT, for example, your clinical supervisor, which will be an ENT consultant, has no, you understand, has nothing, you know, no knowledge of the exams you write in GP. So may not really be speaking with you on those, you know, in that regard. And also you also have to be aware that it's not structured. It can, okay, it's not structured. It can be unstructured. The planning placement meeting. If you're in GP and you have the placement meeting in GP, then that will probably be structured, because those guys, you know, they know what, you know, is expected of you and things like that. They are GPs as well. Or if you are in a hospital, you know, posting, if you're starting out in a hospital posting, it probably may not be structured. You know, you may have some instances where the supervisor would probably just have a brief meeting with you and tell you, you know, could you send in your PDPs as an email, you get, and things like that. So you don't necessarily expect, you know, one grand meeting called, you know, PPM, you know, placement planning meeting, for instance. Okay, I don't know if that helped. But if you have any questions, you know, regarding the meeting or the video you watched and you want to, you know, kind of, you know, bring it forward, that's okay. We can, you know, deal with it, so that for the benefit of others that are here.
Yeah, I think, you know, yeah, Victor made it a bit, you know, like I said, these things could be very casual. But if you have that video, I'll be glad to share it as well. It just makes you a bit more prepared. Our experiences have been that of just having a chat. And the while we were doing this is just to kind of give you a preview of what to expect. Because take, for example, there are some things that I was going to bring up on my discussion with, or the role play that I had with Victor today is that there are things that he mentioned that if, if you haven't done this, you may go on a different target and create a different impression about yourself. One is that he spoke about his Airbnb. So I kind of asked him, how soon is he getting to work? He told me about his struggles settling down, but he's mitigated that by saying that he's gotten an Airbnb. He's very close to the practice. And, stylishly, I let him know that him early as well. Yeah. He said generally about how he intends to kind of corner Bridges gap, knowledge gap, but I probed further by asking him that what were the resources, that he has looked at. If you didn't mention anything at that place, that is another, pitfall there. Clearly, he says he's recognized his knowledge gap, but he has also recognized how he's going to. So it's more of, vulnerability, but also telling them that you know what you're going to do. So in their eyes, they're like, well, I won't have to deal, or this person will not need so much of my, reading on him or focusing on him or looking out for him as much as that. That is what, the whole essence of this meeting, that you don't appear too settled or too overconfident, but you are showing that there are a few things that and which is expected because except you've done GP in the UK before or something, they expect you not to know how it goes. I don't know if you've used System 1 before, or any of the system that they use in other parts of the UK. So they expect you to have that thing. But you can say that you understand that they use System 1. You've watched it on video, and you seem to have, but it would be good to, get your hands on it and work with it. And, a little bit of support from the admin team or the IT person, you'll be great to just put you around. So mainly you're sounding confident, you know where your limits are, but you also know how to mitigate. Yeah. So that's why we did this role play. How many patients do you see? You see the way I brought it into the discussion. I want to know if he's going to survive with our 30 minutes or 15 minutes. And remember, I also mentioned to him as well that whatever he's doing, it should come to that tea break. I remember vividly when, because of work and everything, I didn't appear once or twice. One of the politicians just told me casually that, we are expecting you. That's all he said. Try not to miss that tea break. That's what he said that day. And what do? They don't do anything there. You just call. Eh?
Can I cut in? Yeah, I know, like, you understand, guys, don't be offended, but to be honest, I struggled, because when that time is barely enough for me to see patients when I was in GP. the beginning part of it, it was quite hectic. So I don't think I probably, in the whole 6 months, probably attended that thing for like 5 days because when they're having the meeting, I need to finish up. I have so many things to finish up. I didn't even leave on time. I used to leave like, I'll go there early. It was 9 to 5, probably go there by 8:30. Start reading on the cases, have a bit of a background, start calling the patients. And it wasn't enough, to be honest. And if you if you factor in what's it called, home visit, it becomes almost impossible. It becomes almost impossible.
I didn't mention about the home visit. And then the admin, you do some
So
admin
it
work,
becomes almost impossible.
looking at the blood, looking at x-rays, everything and such. Yeah.
So it's I mean, don't beat yourself up. If you're slow, you're slow. If you're fast, you're fast. You're new to the system. So you don't beat yourself up, don't be worked up about it. Yeah, try to, manage time, but sometimes there's obviously knowledge gap that needs to be bridged. It's always there. You'll probably be, picking up and then trying to bridge. But the beginning part, you're going to, not struggle, but you're just going to have to find a way around it. If you're not able to attend, if you can attend some, you attend some. If you're not able to attend, you just share with them that, yeah, you really want to attend. Or I don't know how you're going to do it, but it also depends on your CS. If it's somebody very understanding, and all that. So it can be quite challenging in GP, to be honest, because some of my friends too, they're like, man, that meeting out probably did not go once because you understand, you're 9 o'clock, you're barely finishing, and then you have so many things to do because you're new. It just give you all sort of symptoms. You have to read it, to get an understanding of what you're doing. You have to have a management plan. You cannot go to, okay, well, maybe I'll leave you to finish. So before I digress, so I'll let you finish. But the meetings, try as much as possible to go. But you cannot go for the meeting and do everything and not finish. You have to finish as well. You get for the day. You can't keep things hanging and hanging, because if it hangs, it's going to be piling, and soon you just start feeling, too much pressure to do everything. And your list is going to be your list. They put patients in for you to see. You will see those patients. You understand? But I like it or not, you see the patient. So I don't know. I'll let you like that.
I think what Victor, the key point from what he said is your CS. You have to scout and make sure the kind of person you're CS. For me, it was an important thing, to be at that meeting. And 30 minutes, I think they will start you with 30 minutes or 20 minutes.
30.
I think my take home for everyone is do it in that 30 minutes. Victor is a special guy. I don't know how he went through with his CS. He controls his CS for my discussions.
I don't
he controls them, but I have a different experience.
I don't control them, bros.
I hear you.
I have a good rapport.
But really, I think that is what is expected, and I think we should try and just fixing that time, because what they will be looking at also is fitness to practice. They want to see if you are able to balance between work and other stuff that you have to do. For me also, that tea break, we would discuss about patients.
Yeah.
Talk about families, we will talk about things. It was just spontaneous. There was one time we spoke about transgender and all those things. We spoke about that, very rare stuff. We spoke about 419s, people were, I don't know how they were just sending messages to to some of the practitioners, and and sometimes it may be very awkward because, for example, the 419 thing, what it is for Africans and Nigerians, So I was like, why are they saying this and all of that? But you have to resolve in your mind that, this is just not about me. Let me know. Because what they're trying to get there, let me tell you that you are being supervised. It's a very monitored country. You see CCTV all over. So even in that social thing, watching your social gesture, watching how you talk. Are you talking over people? Are you listening? Are you, communicating well? Is your grammar proper? Those are the things, they look at, Are you waiting for people to talk and, talking? Those are the things they look out.
Are you holding the door when you open it, unlike Nigeria?
Hey, are you holding the door for people? Are you, it's not to stand up for everybody, but, if a lady, if a gent, if a guy, a lady practitioner comes in, they may tell you not to bother, but have you offered it, etiquettes, all those things they're looking for, which and from your
Make tea or coffee. When you go to make tea or coffee, you need to ask others.
Yeah.
Don't just stand up, go make your tea, come back and sit down and be drinking. That's rude. That's rude.
I think the people here know that already. They go through
Okay.
inductions and in many other groups that they're exposed to. I think we've just, the whole essence is to, give you a tip of the iceberg. You've seen this. You see how confident Victor was, how calm he was, how casual he was. Even in all of that, he answered my question. He gave, he said what he had to do. About, I didn't really ask him what are his difficult topics in medicine. I think we talked around that, So you want to go back now. You want to get your placement planning. You want to get your TPD, going. I'm sure you've all gone to one seminar or the other, how you can create your TPD. Maybe in your first this thing, you may just want to make it about 3, and not above 5 anyway. Leave it about 3, 2 may be too small, but 3 may be fine. But we're always here, when we start in the mid or maybe the second week, we want to come back again and see how everybody is doing, the questions that you need, and all of that. A few questions. Let me see on the chat. What do you have on the chat? I'm starting. Sorry. Okay. When seeing the patient, does it help to use PLAB format to meet up 30 minutes, seeing as PLAB was roughly 10 minutes? Yeah, I would say so. It's basically that. But if you're in the GP, there's actually a format that we use in the GP. Most times you want to, like we always do, it's almost similar to PLAB. That would be a good place to start, but most times you want to introduce yourself, let the patient vent what they want to say. While they're talking, you have your key points that you're going to ask, and to see your different ideas that you're thinking in your mind. And then from there, you've made your impression. You want to explain what it is to the patient, what you think it is. Allow the patient to ask you questions, and then you come up with your management. When you're explaining, explanation is different from management, you know. So you've explained what you think it is. You want to ask the patient. It may be where you ask about your eyes. So, or even before you explain, you may ask the patient, what do you think it is? They say what it is. You tell them what you think it is. And you may come up with the other part of eyes. What are you most concerned? Or you may twist it whichever way around, you know, but don't forget eyes in GP. What are you thinking of? What are you most worried about this, you know, this presentation, or what you've come with it? What are you expecting to gain from this, or what do you want to take from this consultation?
But you ask those eyes tactfully, not
Yes,
directly.
not
So
directly.
Tease it out, you know, not okay. So how can we?
Not bam, bam, bam.
You don't ask, you know, what are your concerns or what are your expectations? So you kind of like, you know, be tactful in asking.
Hmm.
And sometimes they say it in between lines, so you also have to.
You just kind of feedback to them to let them know that you actually picked it up. Yeah, that's one thing you can do. So the plug thing is a good way to start. Victor, are you looking at the questions to see which
Yeah, I
one
was
you can
trying
answer?
to answer a few. So let's see. Okay, that plat format, I think is, yeah, you can use that. But remember, in plat format, you're not documenting anything. And most examinations, you know, they tend to provide you with, you know, the findings. So, but in the exam, there you have to, you know, if you want to do an exam, you think it was going to be important, you know, in aiding your diagnosis differentials. So you have to, you know, let the patients know. If it's, you know, exam that is intimate, you have to offer a chaperone. Okay, so don't examine a patient without a chaperone. Please don't do that. And I think, you know, if you see a patient that has any maybe because you know the patients that are coming in, you know the patients because you see, you know, the secretaries, is it the triage nurses to put in, you know, a few lines as to what the patient is coming in with. If it's mental health related, you know, you probably will need a chaperone. Yeah, depending. Because well, when I was in psychiatry, you know, if a patient has CUPD, you better have a chaperone. You understand? When you're seeing that patient. So
Okay.
what my take home in psych was is if I go to GP land, you know, and I see a patient in a mental health background, they'll probably have one or two chats with the patient and know where it's going towards, then I'll just get a chaperone. Okay. So let me see the other question.
Someone said, we said this has been quite insightful. Please, when can we expect to have this meeting with either ES? Or we said that maybe you came a bit late. It's usually for people in GP land, it's usually your first day of starting your GP. ES, it may take maybe midweek or end of.
Yes, you may not meet your ES. I think so. We don't miss out the questions.
Yeah, you won't meet.
Maybe, starting with hospital posting, I've been given CS, but not ES. Is that going to come later? Yes, it can come later. I don't know. It may also be in your this in 14 fish, so you can check. Or they'll provide you know, you with your ES. So that's going to come later. If you don't have
you
it,
you can email your let as well.
The thing is, you know, if you've got a CS, if you've got an ES, or if you've got both, I think it's also it will be very courteous of you if you just drop them an email. You understand? Just write them an email. Hello, you know, whatever, you know, this, and I'll be coming to, or be starting on so and so, or that, you know, looking forward to working with you, meeting the team and all that. So it's nice. Just introduce yourself, and this is one of your, you know, trainees, or, you know, I think that's nice. You can do that just to start creating rapport. Soon after starting time, Okay, he said, when are we expected? Okay, we've sorted that. Soon after starting, oh, sorry, Elijah, the ES bit, you may not have a meeting with your ES. So it depends. Let me come out of that. So for the ES, your CS here, you will be having meetings with your CS. If you're in GP, you'll be seeing your CS probably every day, except the day your CS is not working. On those days, you see another practice, person, GP, like Elijah said earlier. You are expected to have, if you're in GP, you're expected to have, is it 7 sessions now? 7 clinical sessions. So I'll explain what they are. So each session is half a day, basically. So Monday, for instance, you have 2 sessions, that morning and afternoon session. So if you're doing, clinical session Monday to Friday, that's 10 sessions. So now the 10 sessions, you have 10 sessions in GP, but you will be having weekly teaching. So that's half day. So that means 1 session is done for your teaching. In GP, when you're in GP, you'll be having self-study, which is half day. So you have, so you have that half day. So if you add the half day, if you have the half day of your self-study on the day of your weekly teaching, so that means that day you're off. You get, so that day, you're not, you don't come to work. So so that day, sorry, 1 second. Did you drop me a message?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On WhatsApp, so you can look at it.
All right. Yeah.
I think
So
there are a couple of questions that we have. So
so then you have, so that means 2 sessions gone. So you now have 8 remaining. So one of these sessions, which is a half day, you're supposed to have a tutorial with your supervisor. So that's like 3 hours, whatever you want to discuss, what you want to, if you want medical things, administrative things, you just find that, discuss that. So you're now left with 7 sessions remaining. So those 7 sessions are clinical, so that's how they work. So you have morning session, you have afternoon session. In between, you can have, that's where you have the home visit schedule. So that's it.
someone says, do we need to do BLS even if we have ALS?
Yes, you do. So you need it every year. So for the BLS, you can schedule, you can just look for a course online. When you come here, or if you're here already, look for a course online, you do it. You register. There's ELFH. So if you check there, you find BLS courses. So you do them, put it on your portfolio, and you attach the certificate. You also need to do, what's that thing? Safeguarding for adults and children. Yeah, it expires every 3 years, but you need to be aware that you need to do it every year. Okay. You need to have some reflection or something every year.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was talked about in the portfolio.
You'll see it as well in the portfolio. How do CPD goes? I think we will leave that for another time. I said, Victor, you want to quickly talk about it? From what I know, your CBD, right, is a patient that you really want independently, actually. Try to make it independent. So you see this patient, you work very, you see the patient from beginning to the end, especially for those you see in GP practice. It may start with an home visit, and then you have to go back again, or they have to come to the hospital, or you refer them to they have to come to the practice, or you refer them to the the hospital, or you kind of refer them to other
facilities
or social stuff. Let me use an example. I saw a patient that would have had a stroke. The family didn't know, nobody knew. When it was an home visit, then I came back. I had to refer to speech
language therapy.
Language therapy. I had to refer to occupational therapy. I have to talk to the hospital, see, if they're willing, neuro clinic or something. I just had to speak to a lot of them. So I saw this patient, I did everything. He was a good one as a CBD. Then you now tell your CS that, oh, these are the capabilities you want to be tested on. Take, for example, in that kind of patient in the community, I may put community orientation as the capability I want them to check me on. I may put teamwork, or what do they call it, or working with
Working with
colleagues,
teams, yeah.
working with colleagues as another one. And then he will choose a day when I could present it. He may have read about it, and it's like an open exam, but he will still kind of ask you around it, right? How would you have managed this patient better? What could you have done? Anything can come. That's how CBD is like. But I think for the first 1 month or two, let's focus on how you settle yourself more inside the practice. Settle yourself more inside the practice. Know the computer. Know work. Fast within your time. Attend the T meeting. Don't mind Victor. Attend the team
Yeah,
meeting.
attending is important, to be honest. Yeah, because they discuss some patients that they have that they find difficult, so you can learn from that.
That's where I would disagree with Victor there. Attend the team meeting. Get your way around. I think we'll come back a month or thereabout. That time, people should have been deciding on their CPD, on their mini kegs, on their mandatory whatever that they're doing. And you can always put it there on the forum. Anything I would, I always do that. I'll just mention it or give some clarity on it. Clearly, you guys have been doing good work between each other, more amongst each other, answering a lot of questions that I don't know about. So good, kudos to you on that, really. I think, there are no other questions?
I think have we addressed all the questions there? I think so. So
I think so,
we talked
yeah.
about this ALS. So ALS is not BLS, so you need a BLS. So
yeah, you meet your CS on the first day in GP. You may meet them in the hospital as well, but not likely, because in the hospital there's a lot of induction and things like that.
somebody asked, are you going to start seeing patients from day one in GP? No, you're not. So you have induction, you have a few things to learn. It depends. If you have a good, supportive CS, you might, have to sit in a few clinics, see how they do things, sitting with the nurses before you start seeing patients, which can be helpful. Yeah. Hi, I don't understand the 2 or 3 TPDs. I don't know what that means. So.
Yeah, I don't know too. So I didn't.
Or maybe PDPs, I think maybe.
So I don't understand. Okay, maybe PDP.
PDP. So it's two or 3 PDPs per posting, or maybe 4, depends. So yeah, I think
it's the PDP that is saying.
So CBD's CBD's case-based discussion. So Elijah has said that. So you just need a juicy case that you've probably done everything, and you should get a few cases, because you don't just take one case to go and discuss or have this case. So you go with like a few cases. They will now pick, like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this one. So you need to have done a lot of things, in that case, to be able to, discuss some of the bits that you need to be signed off for you. So like Elijah has already shed light on that. So those are them, the mini cake. So just take every opportunity you can. I know it's still quite early days, but in my early days, I did tick off a lot of mini cases. So is it mini cakes or caps?
I think it's caps.
Caps.
Yeah, caps is the mandatory. So that is the female examination, the male prostate, rectal examination, and all.
So those ones, if you get the opportunity,
get it done, as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
If you get the opportunity to do it, just get a chaperone in, do it, and then
Get your clinical supervisor or one of the as well.
Yeah, get it done quick.
Get it done.
I think that it's only one that is left for me now. So yeah, it's a good opportunity. Just get it done, get it out of the way. Breast examination, prostate examination, PR. What else is there? Yeah, bimanual examination, and I think one more. Is it this thing, vaginal examination? I think there are 5.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the 14 fish there. So
yeah. Okay.
let me see. So I think I thought this meeting would just be barely 1 hour, so that everybody can begin to, that depends on your CS really. It depends on your CS. You may video it. Those are the things you may ask your CS about, your mini kegs if you can video it. And she's just asking the consent of the patient as well, and make sure it's not an intimate examination or interview thing. But those things are discussions you have with your. So I think we've done a bit of justice to this, kind of introduce you to what it is. I want to thank Victor for coming in at a very impromptu
Quick question, Elijah, before you just close.
Yeah.
Any further plans for the portfolio and things?
I would mention it to them. I'll mention it to them. I just want them to have a feel themselves, then come back maybe in a month or a month and a half, see how everybody's doing, which we would kind of, percuss and assess from the discussion in the forum. So we will know how to plan going forward. So guys, all the best in as you're going into the training. Just a few key announcements. I subdivided the group into 5 main group of interest. So it's not to take you out of the main group, because the main group is still very important, but there are, if you're in that group, let's get it rolling. Don't leave it to me alone, to do these things. Let's just, begin to come up with in our interest group. Secondly, I also want to say that I want to mention, as we are going in now into the training, a couple of people will probably need mobility going forward. I remember, Dave would have come, Mr. Dave would have come to discuss with you. If you have a pen, please take these details down. If it's something that you're still looking at, mainly what he wants is the brand of car. If it is manual or automatic that you want, when is the best time to call you? Yeah, and how soon do you need it? And lastly, your budget. Your budget. So it's mainly 5 details that he needs. And then, lastly, your phone number, because I don't want to have to kind of be clicking your number or doing all that. Just supply me with all these 6 things. I will forward it to him and he would call you. There have been some instances, unfortunate instances, that have transpired in talking to one or persons in the group. And I've mentioned it about the discussion with those persons, and I told them I would speak about it in the forum. Try to be as open and as plain as possible. Please, you've seen the caliber of people that are brought into the forum. I'm not a joker, right? Neither are these people, right? So just give them a bit of courtesy when you discuss with them. Mr. Dave in itself is a millionaire on his own. Yeah, he has his own company. Yeah, but he's just when you reach a stage and you just want to help people, that is the stage that he is right now. He's over 60 years of age. So that's the kind of person we're dealing with. And unfortunately, one of you were going to just give a brief call it a testimony, but his own engagement and experience with him, and how he had treated him, and his own experience with Dave. So, but because of a lot of things we were doing, and he had to go to other things, maybe we'll bring him back again to talk about how the interaction with Dave was. But even as much as everything that I've said, you also have the responsibility and the option, the prerogative to go online, do your search, and get really. But what I would not permit or allow is to to have an untoward interactions with my guests. I've not been that with any of you, so I wouldn't allow that with any of the persons that I bring. I look out for your interest, and I protect your interest. And so please just afford me that that's just going forward. Like I said, 16, the brand, whether it's auto or manual, whether it's how soon do you want it, when is the best time to call you, your budget, phone number. Send that to me if you are interested going. So and I think lastly, is Christine still there to just give us Christine, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Elijah, I'm still here. It was a fabulous meeting. I really enjoyed that, actually. I love some of the questions Dr. Victor was asking you. I was like, yes, nice one, Dr. Victor. I like that question, even though it completely is not relevant for me, but I love the question he was asking because I knew it would definitely help someone else. So yes, some of you guys came late, so I'll just introduce myself again. I'm Christiane Doe. I'm a senior financial coach. So we are actually at the moment willing to help some of you guys who are coming into the UK to help you navigate around the UK financial system. We understand people don't have the money, but they have an income problem. So one of the things we do, as you all know, actually coming into the UK, the cost of living has risen. So inflation is on 9 point, almost 10%, and it's been at its highest in 40 years. So at the moment, as it stands in the UK, it is so difficult for one income to really sustain. And then bear in mind, actually, the cost of fuel is actually going to increase. So household bills are going to increase a lot more. So one of the things I was hoping would that, during this race now, when they're trying to kind of figure out who the new prime minister is going to be, they've completely forgotten that they were actually trying to lower the energy prices. So we literally stand of there's probably going to be an increase of about £400 within the next few days, because all they're so focused on is seeing who's the next prime minister and talking about what they're going to do moving forward. But as of now, a lot of people are suffering financial hardship, and that's where we come in as a company. So we educate and empower you to make the best choices. So all that we do is actually complimentary. So guys, feel free to reach out. As they say, knowledge is power. So come in and get your knowledge. In fact, as I'm actually talking about what we do, let me just quickly share again how you guys can actually get in contact with myself, okay? Please feel free to contact Dr. Buki Fagorala. She's one of my team leaders. So she's a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous lady. She's passionate about helping her fellow doctors, her fellow Nigerians to navigate around the UK financial system. At the moment, one of the things we do not want is for you guys to kind of come in last minute when you're struggling already financially. We want to meet you right at the beginning where we can help you solve all of these things, show you how to not fall into, this debt trap where, okay, I'm trying to find the saying. I'm trilingual, so at times I struggle with finding some of the saying. They say, is it cure? Is it prevention is better than cure? Yes, that's the one. So that is what we want, guys. So the financial education we do is tailored for Christians, non-believers, and also for Muslims. So we also have Sharia mortgages that we do for Muslims, if they wish, because we know it's quite difficult for Muslims to actually get mortgages, especially with how we stand in the UK system. So we do cater also for non-Christians as well. So please feel free, take Dr. Buki's details down, message her. Her phone number is there, so it's 077 296 75585, and then, or you can email her at olu.fagorala@genister.org. So just message her and let her know if you've just come into the UK and you would like to find out more. So one of the things also we endeavor to teach you is the different types of mortgages, because I'm sure a lot of you will go out and buying properties. And of course, there's the help to buy, right to buy, and also interest and repayment mortgages. So we cannot teach you the difference between all of that. And some of you do take what is called the help to buy, which then means that you have an equity loan. And just to let you know, equity loan, if the loan is not then paid within 5 years, it becomes interest only. Then it means that you could be stuck paying that property for a really, really long time. So one of the things we don't want you to do is, for example, if you're to purchase a property in the UK, if you still have an equity loan on it, you can't sell the property. Most of you might want to decide to relocate and live in the property in the UK. If for any reason you leave the property in the UK and you leave and anything happens to you, I want you all to know, if you don't have a will or a trust in place, that property is going to get passed to the Crown. Okay, guys? So that's one of the things we're trying to avoid. So please just book yourself in for complimentary financial education, and we will be able to handle that for you. And like I said, complimentary, so you don't actually pay a penny for the education we teach. So there's no reason why you should all come in. And also one of the things that we are actually doing at the moment, and something that Buki is very passionate about, you guys would actually notice, Dr. Buki has the exact same name as Dr. Elijah. Dr. Buki is actually Dr. Elijah's wife. So what happened? Why did Dr. Buki join us? Is because when she came into the UK, she noticed she has actually a sponsor visa, so a spouse visa. So she was able to actually come in. The word is not the sponsor visa actually. So she has a dependent visa, so she could join. So the immigration at the moment is making it quite difficult for doctors who just come in to do what they have to do as doctors. They don't want you to do anything else. They'd rather just keep you there. And then they understand that within a year or so, you will find that the money is a little, not as much as you thought coming into the country. So one of the things they do is they first of all trap you coming in, and they make sure that you're not able to really switch over. So one of the things we've done is you can actually get your spouse or get your partners to join the business, and you can work together. So we are also offering you guys the opportunity, if you don't want to be struggling on just the one income household, get your partners to come on board and also work with Genister on a part-time basis. So one of the things I asked Dr. Elijah to do is to send you all a link. We're having a webinar tomorrow. I'm going to be on there. The CEO is actually going to be running, and he's going to tell all of you why we've set up this company called Genister, so what it is we do and why we're passionate about doing what we do, okay? We are what you would call an industry disruptor. So we've completely disrupted the industry, and we are one of the biggest financial services company in the UK. So please join our meeting tomorrow if you can at 7:30. You don't have to have your videos on, you can just listen in the background. And please put Dr. Bukola Fagorala as the person who invited you. And like I said, and if you also want the education, message us also. So we'll send 2 links, but please feel free to reach out, all right? If you've got a partner joining and they would love to do something in the meantime, also reach out and let's see how we can get you and your partner on this journey to financial freedom. Thank you, Dr. Elijah.
Thank you very much, Vic. Thank you very much, Christine. I almost thought that some of those information you would, save it for later, but it just shows how generous and how passionate, we want all of us as a people and as a community grow and excel and overcome some of these challenges. So thank you, guys. And the other thing I was going to say lastly is parents. Please, the parenting course, I'd advise you, please join. Find time, to join those. I would say, from dealing with a few of you, some of us are already having, issues with the social services and the authorities. Thank goodness we came in quite immediately with the Mr. Ola, the guy that I brought and spoke, discussed things with us the other day. And lo and behold, the matter did not escalate, further than expected. But one thing that happened was that those parents were moved out of their house, and was told they couldn't see those children until investigations were over. They had to bring a relative to come in, to sit with them in their own home. It's that that disturbing. So please, prevention is better than cure, like Christine. That is the whole essence of all that we're doing. Let's make use of all this information. Thank you, guys. See you in the forum. See you in the group, in the interest group, and then we'll come back again and see how we are all doing. Maybe a month and a half time. But please, the problems shared is a problem solved. Let's not hide until things become really bad. Thank you, guys. Victor, thank you. Christine, thank you. And thank you, everyone. Bye now.
Thanks. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Someone says post the link before you go.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. The recording, yeah, we did do some recording.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
No problem, guys. Bye. Try to keep this for one hour, but one way or the other, we get. I'm improving. It's just about 1 hour 40 minutes. But one thing I'm grateful is that that I have some thank you coming after. Everybody seems to have taken something up. Once we had, it's good. Hi, Christine. Thank you very much. I think we can close. Thanks again.